Now then, welcome to Betfred's Football Show. Huge weekend of Premier League action. Dean Windass alongside me, former striker. We'll talk about a few of the strikers in and out of form in the next 20 minutes or so. But want to start with at the top of the table. Man City are there for the first time this season. They're odds on to win the title, 8-13. Liverpool 11-4. They're going to miss players in January, aren't they? Mo Salah, the African Nations Cup, Chelsea 9-2. Who's going to win the title then?
It's going to be a tight one, I think, for a number of years now, Mark. I think it's going to be really, really tight. You know, you sort of judge it after Christmas where people, obviously teams will be. I don't think that top three is going to change in the sense, you know, West Ham are pulling up trees at the minute. You know, West Ham got a massive game this weekend at Burnley. You know, these are the games that you've got to win to stay in that top four. But I don't think the top three will change. I'm going to stick my neck on the block. And all my mates will be delighted with this in Hull, is that I think Liverpool will win it. I know that you've just said there they're going to lose a few players.
Salah, Mane,
they're going to lose
Keita.
a few players, Keita, for the African nations. But I just think that they've got that much, you know, strength in depth as well. You know, you've got players coming in. Listen, at the end of the day, I think that when you've got teams who are creating chances like Liverpool do, you know, Chelsea are more of a defensive unit. You know, and relying on, you know, obviously Lukaku, you know, who's obviously just come back from injury. But I think that, you know, obviously, listen, at the end of the day, Man City have not pulled up any trees. And I always said anybody who finishes above Man City will win the league. But it's going to be very, very tight. And it's tough to call. But I'm going to stick my neck on the block and I'm going to go with Liverpool. I think that they're, especially when they get, if they have a great richer form when them players do go away, you know, how strong will they be when they come back? So, you know, Jurgen Klopp will be thinking, you look at teams in that month that you play, how many points can you win from them games? And I think Jurgen Klopp will be looking ahead instead of looking what's in front of him.
There is a couple of FA Cup games.
Exactly, which allows the kids to come in, the squad players to come in and play. But obviously, listen, I think they're so strong and they're so powerful going forward that I think that Liverpool could win this year.
Well, if you agree with Dean, Liverpool are 11-4 at the moment, Man City 8-13. Let's talk about top of the table, Man City. They're at home to Wolves. How good is Bernardo Silva? I love watching him.
Well, what position does he play?
I'm not sure.
That's what I'm going to say. What position does this lad play? He doesn't look the quickest on the eye, but his football intelligence and how he gets in the box. And to be fair, for the first time in our football life, that Man City don't have a number 9. Now you can have Bernardo Silva number 9, you can have Forlan a number 9. You know, Jesus is a number 9.
I mean, you can't obviously.
Sterling is a number 9.
What you've done in your career, you can't believe it that they're playing without a proper striker.
It's unbelievable how tactically aware everybody knows what they're doing. So if Jesus plays on the right, somebody drops in on the left. Sorry. If Sterling plays down the middle. So everybody fills in for different positions, and that's great coaching. That for me, that is great coaching. And then out of possession, you know, how quick they close the ball down, how quick they press in 2s and 3s. So for me, you know, they're a joy to watch. You know, it's going to be a tough afternoon for Wolves. You know, obviously, they're 8th. They'll stay in the Premier League. I think that's a given.
They're unlucky against Liverpool, weren't they?
They're very unlucky. But as you say, when you got Aribi comes on and scores the winning goal. That's where, you know, Liverpool are so strong. But Wolves, it's going to be a tough afternoon when you go to places like Man City.
Go on then, give us a prediction.
I think Wolves will score. I think that they're very good on the counter-attack. You know, defensively quite solid with Conor Cody who organises at the back. But I'm going to go for a 3-1. I think that Man City will. If they score early, it could be more than 3, but I think both teams will score.
3-1 Man City. That's what they beat Watford last Saturday. So that's the early kick-off at 12:30. Let's move to some 3 o'clock kick-offs on Saturday. Arsenal versus Southampton. Arsenal lost the last 2 away at Man United and Everton on Monday night.
Wow. Do you know with Arsenal, Mark, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get. Obviously, watching the game the other night against Everton, you know, they look as though they are improving. They have improved under Arteta. He was probably, for me, the first manager I thought that we was going to get the sack in the Premier League before Steve Bruce. So I think that Arsenal Arteta's probably getting on the bus every afternoon thinking, what am I going to get this afternoon? Do you know, for me, I think that Southampton, they haven't got, a proven striker now. Danny Ings has left. Do you know, I think it's a situation where Southampton again, they've got to stay in the Premier League this year, which I think they will do. But I think again, it's a banker for me for Arsenal. Do you know, I think that's...
Get back on track. What
I
score?
think so. I think they'll win 2-0. I think that they'll get back on track. After a defeat like that, and then you're playing at home the week after, you do get a response. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Arsenal win.
What about, just a quick word on Aubameyang? Seems to have really lost some form, has been dropped. Now look, you had slumps in your career.
Yeah.
I hate to remind you. How do you get out of a slump?
Working hard on the training ground, showing a good attitude.
Do you think his attitude might be wrong?
It might be wrong. I think that obviously he's the captain. He's been left out. That will, hurt his pride. And it's how you respond on the training ground. Managers look at you. Are you sulking? Are you walking around? Are you being a bad influence on the group? Nobody knows on the Arteta or know that. For me, you've got to get on the training ground, spend hours doing finishing, headed, crossing, volleys, whatever you want to do, and get back on track again and start working hard. Then when you do get the opportunity and then you do come off the bench, he may start this weekend. I think he might start this weekend after being left out. But he'll be a big influence on the change room. But for me, Arteta's got a big problem. He doesn't know what he's going to get from week after week.
Another 3 o'clock kick-off. This is a cracker, by the way. Chelsea versus Leeds. Right, Chelsea, just one win since an outstanding performance against Juventus, and they struggled against Watford when they beat them. Leeds had a good point at the weekend in the end. It was Bamford who scored late on, but now he's injured. Calvin Phillips is now injured as well. Liam Cooper's injured. They've been very unlucky with injuries this year, Leeds.
Bamford injured again, is he?
Yeah.
He came on, scored, and when you think you come on and I saw his celebration.
Probably got injured in the celebration.
Probably got injured. He ran that quicker than what he normally runs. But I think for me, the key, what you just said there, is Liam Cooper and Phillips, who sits in front of the back four.
He's a great player, Phillips.
That insurance policy. Rafinha, he's the one. He's the one who you need to get on the ball. First goal scorer for me all the time when Leeds United play. He obviously takes penalties.
So can they get anything at Chelsea?
I don't think they can. I think that they leak too many goals. Even when Liam Cooper's available, he's the captain, he's the leader. They're too expansive. I think that sometimes when you go to big clubs like Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, you've got to get people on the counter-attack. Because if you go gun-ho and Chelsea score early doors, when I played against Chelsea, managers used to say, stay in the game for as long as you can. Quieten the bridge down, keep the supporters down. You can't look beyond Chelsea here. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win for Chelsea. I don't think with Bamford now, you just said that he's injured again. Phillips and Cooper, who's going to come up and step up. Rafinha can't do it all himself. I don't think Leeds will score. Unfortunately, I'll get slaughtered from my Yorkshire colleagues. But Chelsea are strong at home. They play that three. The two wing-backs, bomb on, Reece James, unbelievable right back. And you're going to get goals all over the pitch, so I'm going to go 3-0 Chelsea.
And have you seen Leeds' fixture list? Chelsea away, which we've just spoken about, then City away, Arsenal at home, Liverpool away.
Wow.
It's a tough festive period for Leeds.
Well, I've just looked here, they've drew 7 and lost 5. They've not won as many games. I thought they'd been all right this year, Mark. I predicted if Bielsa signed some good players in the summer. Very surprised he's on his hand, sort of like, James from Man United, who's not really pulled up trees for him at the minute. Found it very difficult. But I was very surprised that Bielsa didn't buy as many players as he wanted, and then they could have been pushing for European places. Now they're looking down. And I'm very fearful of them.
Another cracker at 3 o'clock. Liverpool versus Aston Villa. Of course, a return of Stevie G. But what a job he's done at Villa. Won 3 out of the last 4, and that defeat was against Man City. And they were superb in that second half against Man City and unlucky. Liverpool versus Aston Villa.
Well, as you said, the cream of the crop is obviously Stevie going back in it, and that will give, especially the way Villa's been in, like you said.
He's clearly hungry young manager, isn't he?
Well, I think one day he'll be the next England manager.
Not Liverpool.
I think that, yeah, obviously after Liverpool when Jurgen Klopp leaves, but I think that Stevie will go on to be an England manager one day. the intensity that he brings to the team. You know, the high pressing. You know, there's no passengers. Yes, you've got obviously Ollie Watkins now who's scoring goals. He's got Danny Ings who can get you goals, and defensively quite solid. You know, Tyrone Mings is scoring goals from set pieces now. So, listen, what a lift Aston Villa have had. 3 out of 4 you've just said there. He'll be lucky. He'll want this game to come tomorrow because he'll be desperate. Excuse me. He'll be getting a great reception from the Anfield Cop and the supporters. Massive respect, but my head's gonna rule my heart in the sense is that Liverpool are too good. They're too good. You know, as you say now, will Stevie go? You know, 4-5-1 and just pat the midfield and stop the front three? Because that's what you have to do when you go to Anfield. You've got to stop the front three, and if you don't, you know, yes, it's going to be very difficult. I think they'll get beat. I actually don't think they'll get beat. The way that
Go on, give us a score.
The way defensively Liverpool are, Mark, I can't see Villa scoring, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to go for a 3-0.
3-0 Liverpool. And I tell you what, I don't think Liverpool have got the credit what they deserve for in Europe, finishing top of the group in that group of death and winning every game.
Winning every game, and that tells you everything. As you say, you go to. We talk about the top 3. You go to them places. You've got to stay in the game as long as you can. Because if you score early doors, you're going to have to come out and score, and then that's when gaps appear. That's when Salah, Mane, Firmino, whoever's up front, you know, Jota, whoever, you know, you give the ball away cheaply, you get frustrated, you're going to get penalised. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 win, Liverpool win.
Friday night, Brentford versus Watford. Well, Watford are going to get dragged into this, aren't they? 17th on 13 points.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? I spoke when we spoke last time on here, is that, you know, Brentford have done absolutely fantastic, you know, in the sense of the way they play. You know, they don't give the ball away very cheaply. You've got Ivan Toney as their, you know, talisman.
He was missing against Leeds, wasn't he, last week?
He was. You could tell he was missing as well, and they still got a point. You know, when he does play, then you're going to get chances. You know, balls are coming in the box. But I just think that it's a difficult one for me because, you know, with Brentford, you know, playing so well, it's a situation where they are going to stay in the Premier League. Of course they are. You know, but I do fancy Brentford. I do fancy.
Score?
I think both teams will score. I think it'll be tight. I'm going to go for 2-1.
2-1 Brentford. 5:30 Saturday night, Norwich versus Manchester United. Right, first of all, let's talk about Norwich. Dean Smith only lost 1 in 4 since he took over, and that was at Spurs last weekend.
Take this on. This is the upset of the weekend, Mark, for me.
What, Man United winning?
No. Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, probably. No, I'm going to go for a Norwich win, mate.
Really?
I am. I think that Dean's turned it round. Yes, I'm a realist, and I think that Norwich will get relegated, even though that Dean has turned it round since he's left Villa. But I think this could be the upset of the weekend, mate. I actually do. I think that the pressure is on Man United to win every game. They're not playing well. Yes, they got a result last week, the 1-0 result. But for me, I think Norwich, it's a cup final for Norwich City. Do you know? And the one thing about it is no pressure on Norwich at the weekend. Everybody expects Man United to go on and win this game 2 or 3-0. It doesn't work like that. These lads will be up for it. You know, they want to get off the bottom, obviously bottom of that table. So I'm going to go for. I think, well, obviously both teams will score, of course, because when you've got Ronaldo in your team, you're not going to say no, are you? But I think Pulkey will score. He always scores at home. Very, dangerous centre forward. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Norwich win this weekend. I actually do think that Norwich, it's their cup final. They've got nothing to lose. Dean Smith will be saying, let's go press them from the front. Let's see what they've got. They're massively under pressure. We score early doors. They'll get the jitters. New manager come in. See what happens.
What do you think of Ralph Rangnick then?
He's got a great CV, hasn't he? I think that obviously with Klopp and Tuchel speaking about him, where he's learnt the trade from him. Results will give me the opinion of the man, really. I think that he is under pressure, like every manager would be at Man United, and this is a big game for him. He'll be judged this weekend. If they go on and win the game, easily, people say, yeah, well, you're going to anyway because they're bottom of the league. But in the Premier League market, done well like this will be a tough game for Man United.
Mason Greenwood scored in Europe on Wednesday night. How good could he be?
You play him on that right-hand side. I heard Gary Neville saying he's probably one of the best finishers at the club. You know, Terry Venables used to say to us, you know, when we was at Middlesbrough, if you can get 5 people on the pitch that can get you goals, you'll win games. Obviously, that's your two, in my day, 2 front 2, your 2 wide men and the midfield player. He'll get you goals. Now, can he fit him in their system that he's going to play? Obviously, Ronaldo's going to play down the middle. You know, obviously, Rashford plays on the left, Greenwood plays on the right. You know, can you get 2 up top? He's trying to get 2 up top to help Ronaldo.
I think both Rashford and Greenwood would love to play up top, wouldn't they?
Well, listen, any manager wants to go around a system to get 2 up top. Now, Ronaldo, yes, he's done unbelievable up front on his own, obviously, when Solskjaer was manager. But he would love a strike partner alongside him where he can just do whatever he wants, get the young lads to run around him, and when the ball gets in the wide area. But Mason Greenwood, for me, is probably, as you say, one of the top finishers at the club. Can he get him in the team? And if he does, he will score you goals.
But Deano is going for a Norwich win. That is the 5:30 kickoff on Saturday. Let's move to Sunday. 2 o'clock kickoff, Burnley versus West Ham. You've mentioned this already. David Moyes is doing a fabulous job, isn't he? In 4th.
Wow, can they sustain this? And I just said earlier, you know, when we was on air, sorry. You know, you've got to go to places like Burnley and win these games just to keep in that top 4. You know, you can't come away with draws, you know, because no disrespect to West Ham, but Man City, Liverpool, you know, Chelsea, they go to Turf Moor and win. And that's the difference. Can West Ham do that? Listen, what a season Moyes has had. What a season Jared Bowen's having, by the way. You know, an ex-Hull City player, which I said that he would never be good enough to play in the Premier League.
Yeah, eyebrows were raised, weren't they, how much he went for?
Mark, incredible. Antonio, obviously, goal scorer.
Declan Rice is superb.
Wow. Will he be there next year? I don't think he will be. I think if West Ham don't finish in the top 4, then the top 4, whoever they are this season, are going to come for Declan Rice. Chelsea, probably, obviously being a London lad. God, what a game, by the way. You know the way Burnley play. You know, when I'm playing against Burnley, even years ago, and you play 4-4-2, they play 4-4-2, they get the ball up to Woods. You know, they're good from set pieces. The first thing you say when you go to Turf Moor, the first thing we do is win our battles. Win our individual battles, because they'll crash and burn it, they'll play forward, they'll get the second balls. Can West Ham deal with that? If they deal with that, then the quality will come through. I am going to go for a draw. I have gone for a draw, because I do think that Burnley do score at home from set pieces.
So what, 1-1 is what we go for?
Some at a 1-1, 1-1, 2-2 maybe, yeah. So I know both teams will score for a fact, but, you know, I hope West Ham do win the game, because I do want Moisey to get up there, because, you know, when you do watch West Ham play, they're very exciting. They've lost Cresswell, left back, which is a big miss for them. But yeah, I'll go for a score draw.
Leicester, Newcastle. Newcastle finally up and running last weekend. Leicester, they've conceded 2 in each of the last 5 Premier League games.
Yeah, because they're not defending properly from set pieces, Mark. And Brendan Rodgers clearly, you know, when they came away from Villa Park, you know, 2 set pieces again. You know, and people said, do they work on training? Of course they do. You know, every day you work on set pieces, you know, free kicks for, free kicks against, corners against, and they're struggling. Nobody knows why he left Jamie Vardy out at the weekend. You know, it's a surprise to everybody. Does he need a little bit of a rest? Only Brendan will know that. But they need to get back on track. You know, what are they now? 11th Leicester in the Premier League. You know, we're talking the last couple of years that they're in the top 6. So Brendan will be disappointed. Vardy will play at the weekend. But as you say there, I think that it's a tough one for Brendan, because he'll be disappointed with all the goals that he's conceded.
Brighton Spurs is a doubt. You know, it's up the 8 players and the 5 staff are absolutely fine as well. So Brighton Spurs is a doubt as we record this programme because of coronavirus. Right, 4:30 Sunday, Palace versus Everton. What a win for Everton on Monday night. What a finish by Gray.
What a goal. What a goal. And as you say, when you want your top players to step up, Townsend, Gray, Do you know, Richarlison was very unlucky when he could have scored that trick on the night. Yes, VAR.
That first one looked very tight.
It was tight. Listen, at the end of the day, it's the rules. We all know the rules now, and he'll be disappointed. But what a response when he does get his goal, you know, and then obviously Gray comes in at the end. If you ever want to win a game of football, it's...
What a goal.
What a great strike. And that's what he's capable of. Surprised that Leicester City got rid of him, Mark, to be quite honest with you. A young player like that, you know, unbelievable ability. One of these players who wants an arm round him, wants a cuddle. You know, and Rafa's certainly obviously give him that. You know, Rafa's massively under pressure. We know what the Everton fans are like. But what a great result, by the way. Do you know?
Can they build in it?
Well, I think so.
I think Palace were quite unlucky against Manchester United.
I think it's a tough place when you go. Yeah. Patrick's obviously, you know, steadied the ship for Palace. You know, again, another team that, you know, that they say that they're finishing in the Premier League next year. They'll be delighted. The 14th in the Premier League at the minute. And Patrick has steadied the ship. For me, Benteke doesn't score enough goals. I know he's a target man. We'll talk about number 9s. He's your target man. Can we get balls in the box? You can't rely on Zaha all the time.
I'm going to say, if Zaha don't get playing, they don't seem to tick, do they?
No, if you take him out, then the creativity goes, doesn't it? But Benteke, for me, I've watched him a number of years now, and just for me, as a target man, brilliant. You know, absolutely. You know, hold up play. You know, wins balls in the air, but just doesn't score enough goals for me. And I think Patrick, I'll be saying to him, he's stuck by him, he's playing him. But for me, after that win for Everton, they would have been scared to go to Palace at the weekend.
Come on, prediction.
What prediction?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for both teams to score. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Right, I've really enjoyed your company today, but you've got a treble for us, yeah?
I've got a treble. Even though I said that Norwich will beat Man United, my bankers are my treble: Manchester City.
Yep.
Leicester City.
Oh, interesting.
And Chelsea. They're my 3 bankers today.
Man City, Leicester and Chelsea. That is Deano's treble. Thanks so much for joining us. Reminder, by the way, every game now in the Premier League is double delight and hat-trick heaven on your first goal scorer bets. And if you're having a bet this weekend, please keep it fun and gamble responsibly. See you soon.